Hi, welcome back. It's been a while since I have done one of these, so let's see how it goes. I know I said I was gonna do more edited content and try to stay away from the tier slop as much as possible, but as is life, some stuff happened that I needed to prioritize in my life, and I was never able to get that upgrade on equipment I desperately wanted and needed. So, still stuck with my old 7-year-old laptop for now, which is really frustrating, but what can you do about it? Anyways, in-season tournament. Is that tournament? I think it's in-season challenge. Hold on a second. Oh, it's in-season challenge. Okay, my bad. Yeah, whatever. I'll still call it in-season tournament. Last year didn't go so well. Literally every single bracket got busted because NASCAR decided to start at Atlanta for some inexplicable reason, but with that no longer being a thing, and also the seeding being straight up points at the time the tournament starts, like whoever was top 32 in points at the time has a chance at the million, instead of that weird three-race qualifier they had going on. So this has become a much more simple and engaging affair. So let's get right into it. This will be my bracket for the 2026 in-season challenge. You see the 32 guys who qualified here, and I can already see a couple of interesting matchups and other matchups that are gonna be like straight up. So anyways, let's get right into it. Let's start with the start with the 1 versus 32 Reddick versus Alex Bowman. And I can already see potential for an upset here. Not because of Tyler Reddick being bad. As a matter of fact, round 1 is at Sonoma now, so and you know how good Reddick is at road courses. But it's because he's going up against Alex Bowman, the guy, a Hendrick driver, you know? And again, because Alex Bowman, he's had a pretty disastrous season. He had vertigo and was sidelined for a couple of weeks to start the season, and ever since then, yeah, he scored 2 top 5s, but ever since then, the season has been pretty difficult for him. So because of that, I believe he also barely made it, squeaked into the 32nd. I read at some point, like I read some stat on social media that he was tied with Cole Custer on points, but because of those 2 top 5s he had, he won the tiebreaker over Custer, which is why he is eligible for the million and not Custer. So he just barely sneaks in, but again, considering the fact that Alex Bowman is driving a Hendrick car, you cannot count him out. Like, seriously, you cannot count him out. Anyone who is driving a Hendrick car, I would not count them out. But objectively speaking, he's going up against Tyler Reddick, the red-hot Tyler Reddick. Well, he's not as red hot as he was to start the season, but he's still the points leader by a pretty slim margin. And Sonoma, the road courses, he's been pretty good at road courses. He was arguably the best Gen 7 driver on road courses before SVG appeared and took that title by a mile, but Reddick has an argument to be second best. And the fact that Alex Bowman is going up against him, I don't care how much faith I have in Alex Bowman, I don't care how much I don't want to count him out. He is going up against Reddick on a road course. Maybe if it was Atlanta, maybe I would have given him a chance. Although Reddick has also been pretty good at super speedways this season, so who knows. Anyways, Denny Hamlin versus Ty Dillon, and again, I can already see Hamlin having having PTSD from losing in the first round to Ty Dillon at Atlanta. Again, it wasn't his fault. It was more so because NASCAR, again, they decided to start the bracket at Atlanta. But I'm not gonna lie, this upset has a higher chance of happening than most people think. And it's not because Ty Dillon is pretty good at Sonoma, it's more because Hamlin has been pretty bad at Sonoma and at road courses as a whole. And considering that Ty Dillon and Colleague Racing, they decided to go all in on the in-season tournament thing, and they almost won the whole damn thing last year. They made it to the finals, to the finale at Indianapolis. It's very possible that Colleague might want to go all in just for the fun of it. But then again, that upset I don't want to say it was a fluke because I feel like Ty Dillon, some of his best finishes of the season came during that in-season tournament. But at the same time, it doesn't matter how bad Denny Hamlin is at road courses. I still expect him to, just because of the fact that he's driving for JGR and Ty Dillon is driving for a Kaulig team that doesn't have any factory support. I know in saying that Allmendinger has done pretty good, but again, it's Ty Dillon. I'll be damned if Ty Dillon manages to pull off the upset 2 years in a row, but I think this year Denny's got it. Okay, so next we got Cindric versus Keselowski. I feel like this is an easy throw-in because, again, it's at Sonoma, and Keselowski has been pretty terrible at road courses, especially with this Gen 7. Ever since the 3 runner-up finishes he got at Watkins Glen, I feel like his performance at road courses has been abysmal. I'll even go as far as to say that he's been worse than Hamlin on road courses, because at least Hamlin can bring it home in the top 20 occasionally. Speaking of Denny Hamlin, Erik Jones and Joey Logano, whoever wins is gonna face off against Denny. Again, Sonoma, Logano hasn't been exactly stellar on road courses. That being said, I don't know if Sonoma has historically been Logano's best road course. I think it's either that or Watkins Glen. But regardless, Logano has just had a pretty inconsistent, nightmarish season. While Erik Jones, I mean, right now you see 15th. He's made it to the top 16. So right now, if the chase started right now, he will make the chase over Logano. So simply because of that fact, and also because Toyota has looked pretty good this season at every single type of track, even if he's driving a Legacy Motor Club, he's making the most out of. He's getting the most out of that car. So simply because of that, I guess I'll just put Erik Jones simply because of recency. Although I could see this going either way, honestly, because I don't know how good Erik Jones is at road courses, and Logano, I mean, considering how Sonoma and Gen 7 road courses with stage racing, they're like pretty strategy based. I could see Logano executing some late race strategy if the cautions come out at the right time to, at the very least, get over, at the very least, score a better finish than Erik Jones. Okay, Daniel Suarez versus Todd Gilliland. This has a pretty high chance of being an upset as well, simply because Front Row Motorsports, their road course program is pretty underrated. Todd Gilliland and Zane Smith, and also Zane Smith. I'll get into Zane Smith later. But actually, look how funny it is. Hocevar is going up against Todd Gilliland, and Hocevar is going up against Zane Smith. So Spire versus Front Row in 2 of this. Is McDowell going up against Gragson? Oh no, his opponent is Chase Elliott. Okay. McDowell's going up against Bubba. Okay. But yeah, Spire versus Front Row, round 2 would be whoever wins against those two. There's a pretty high chance both Spire guys advance, but at the same time, Front Row, like I said, they're no slouch on road courses. They won at COTA. If I remember, Todd Gilliland won at COTA in 2021, and then Zane Smith did the same in 2022, and I believe he also won in 2023. So yeah, all of the... honestly, now that I think about it, I don't know if the Truck Series raced at COTA after 2023. But yeah, Front Row Motorsports, they're pretty good at road courses. Their drivers, Todd and Zane, they're no slouch when it comes to that. That being said, when it comes to Todd Gilliland, he's going up against Suarez, and Sonoma was the site of his first career win, and Suarez has had arguably the best season of his career. I mean, he's still top 10 in points by the halfway. We're approaching the halfway point of the season, and Suarez is still top 10 in points, which I didn't think was going to happen. And also, again, Suarez is... I don't want to say he is the best driver Spire has on road courses, because Michael McDowell exists, but he's pretty good. I'll say he's one of the 10 best road course drivers in the Gen 7. And Spire, again, They've had a breakout season. They're a much better team than Front Row right now. Front Row has been a little bit disappointing. I mean, outside of Zain, Front Row has been pretty disappointing, I'll say. So simply because of that, I'm gonna put Daniel Suarez in here. And as for Zane Smith and Hocevar really surprised me in the race at San Diego. He really surprised me. I didn't think Hocevar was like that on road courses. That being said, this is one that could go either way. Not gonna lie, because Zain, he is no slouch on road courses, and going even further, Zain has had a pretty solid stretch of races. I know the finishes don't do him justice, but he had top 10 speed at Michigan and top 10 speed at Pocono, and he also hung around the top 10 at San Diego for parts of the race. So who's to say that he cannot run top 10 at Sonoma? Of course, that being said, he's going up against Hocevar, but then again, Hocevar is kind of like a loose cannon when it comes to road courses. So I guess Zain is kind of like the safer pick. This might backfire, and Hocevar might just run top 10 the whole race, and while Zane Smith might go out with an issue, but whatever. I'm just gonna send it. I'm gonna say Zane Smith pulls off the upset and manages to deny Spire their Suarez versus Hocevar round 2 matchup. Okay, Chris Buescher versus John Hunter. This is kind of easy, honestly. Buescher is pretty good at road courses. Pretty underrated, I would say. He has a case for being a top 5 guy on road courses in the Gen 7. Bell versus Chastain. Now, this is another one that I could see going either way. And it's not because neither driver is bad at Sonoma. It's more so because both drivers have had pretty abysmal seasons. I mean, by their standards, of course. I mean, Chastain, arguably one of the more disappointing drivers this season right now. Trackhouse as a whole, outside of SVG, of course. But Chastain and Connor Stillage, especially, they have been pretty disappointing. When you got your road course guy carrying the entire program, you know you're not in a good spot. Although in saying that, SVG has been pretty solid, stayed in the chase cut line for most of the season. There's a little sneeze there. But anyways, Bell has been pretty unlucky ever since the month of May, basically. He's had a pretty tough stretch of races, I would say. Chase Briscoe is largely on the same boat as well. Yeah, I could see this going either way because there's so many things. Considering the terrible luck that these two guys have had, it's pretty hard to predict what's going to happen. However, I feel like Bell has a higher chance of getting a better finish than Chastain, so simply because of that, I'm gonna go out and pick Bell for this one. But again, I could also see Chastain because Chastain is pretty good at road courses as well. Trackhouse, especially with SVG around, but Chastain is actually pretty good at road courses as well. Similar to Suarez, Chastain has a chance, or he has a case for being a top 10 road course racer with the Gen 7, which is pretty funny because he would be the worst road course racer in Trackhouse. But then again, Stillage and SVG are his teammates, so yeah. So I could see Chastain making it. But again, this could go either way, but simply because Bell, I feel like Toyota has run better than Chevrolet this season. Simply because of that, I'm gonna say that Bell can. Bell's gonna advance or get the better finish. But then again, I could very easily see this matchup busting on my bracket, just like the Hocevar versus Zane Smith. I feel like these two matchups are gonna be a problem for me. If my bracket gets busted, it's gonna be one of these two guys. It's gonna be one of these two matchups that's gonna do me in. Hey, speaking of Chase Briscoe, just like Christopher Bell, he's had a pretty rough stretch of races. Although, unlike Bell, most of the bad races Briscoe had were to start the season, whereas Bell is now going through his cold spell right now. He's going up against Allmendinger, and Allmendinger, it's been a pretty underrated surprise, I'm gonna say, especially on road courses. Not just on road courses, but in the season as a whole, he has been hovering around the top 20 in points, around the chase bubble, and he's doing this with a Kaulig team that has literally no factory support from Chevrolet. So the fact that he's doing this is pretty surprising, and I could see him pull off the upset over Briscoe, although it wouldn't really be an upset because, I mean, it's Allmendinger on a road course. In saying that, however, I have Chase Briscoe winning at Sonoma. No, this is not an exaggeration. I actually have Briscoe winning at Sonoma over SVG. I know that pick is gonna age poorly, but that's beside the point. I got Briscoe advancing on sheer principle, by the simple fact that I picked him to win this race on fantasy. On sheer principle, I have to pick him over Allmendinger. Although, again, this could be one of those matchups that could also end up screwing my entire bracket over. So, in saying that, I could also see Allmendinger advancing, but nah, I'll stick with my winning pick. I'll stick with Briscoe. William Byron versus Stenhouse. I feel like this is a very easy pick. I mean, on paper it should be, because Stenhouse, I mean, what has Stenhouse done on road courses off the top of my head? I'm not gonna lie, the first thing that comes to mind with Stenhouse on the Gen 7 road courses with the Gen 7 is him wrecking Kobayashi back at COTA in 2024. That's literally the first thing that came to my mind when thinking about Stenhouse on road courses. Now Byron, I mean, Byron is pretty, I don't want to say underrated, but he's no slouch when it comes to road courses. And he's also driving for Hendrick, so on sheer principle, I guess I'll put Byron in to advance. Larson versus Herbst. This seems like a pretty easy pick. This seems pretty easy, just put Larson as a shoe-in here. But in saying that, I mean, 2311, arguably the best team, either them or Joe Gibbs Racing. Toyota has been on fire this first half of the season so far. So I could see Riley Hurst. This upset has a higher chance of happening than most people would admit. But again, Larson, he's a two-time winner at Sonoma. If Riley was going up against any Chevy driver, let's say Stenhouse, if you swap Larson with Stenhouse and the matchup was like Herbst versus Stenhouse, I could see Herbst advancing, but the fact that he's going up against Larson, yeah, no. He just has no chance. Ty Gibbs versus Austin Dillon. This feels like a pretty easy one as well. I mean, it's Ty Gibbs on a road course. Arguably a top 5 driver on road courses too, by the way. Bubba Wallace versus McDowell. Listen, I like Bubba a lot, and his improvement on road courses. I mean, he finished second at San Diego last week after being 2 laps down due to that loose wheel that happened on his first green flag pit stop. He came back from that to finish second. But he's going up against McDowell. He's going up against Michael McDowell. Another guy that has arguably top 5, that is arguably top 5 on road courses with this Gen 7. And he's also the more consistent pick when it comes to road courses. Bubba is pretty hit or miss. So on sheer principle alone, McDowell is the easy pick. Although I could see Bubba simply because he's driving for 2311. I could see Bubba just outrunning McDowell on sheer speed. But McDowell, on technique, when it comes to road course prowess, McDowell just clears Bubba by a mile, even if Bubba has improved a lot. Okay, let's knock this one out of the way. SVG just is gonna easily clear Ryan Preece. I know SVG had that wreck on San Diego, but I mean, that's literally what it took for him to not win on a road course. It was just him getting wrecked out. Unless something catastrophic happens at Sonoma, it doesn't matter how good Ryan Preece looked at San Diego, he has no shot against SVG. I'm sorry. Okay? The only way Ryan Preece makes it out of Sonoma alive is if the nightmare scenario of SVG wrecking out or something happens to him, or a mechanical failure, it happens to him. If not, and SVG just runs up front and dominates and wins, yeah, Preece is cooked. I don't care how good he is on road courses. I'm sorry. Finally, wrapping up round 1. Chase Elliott versus Gragson. Again, easy pick. I mean, Noah Gragson's highlight at road courses has been just hitting the wall I don't know how many times at the Chicago Street Course in 23. And also his beef with Kevin Magnussen last week. Yeah, this is another easy pick for me. And then Blaney versus Josh Berry. Similar to Elliott, this is a pretty easy pick for Blaney because Blaney is no slouch on road courses. He might be a bit hit or miss, but he is no slouch. Josh Berry is more of a short track racer. He got short track racing roots. He doesn't have a road course background, so I feel like this could be this type of racing could be a pretty struggle for him. And also, then again, he's 30th in points, had a pretty disappointing season. So yeah, this is an easy pick for me. Okay, so round 1 is done. So we now have to go all over again and try this again with round 2. Fortunately, it's Chicagoland. It's Chicagoland, and it's pretty. The matchups are pretty straightforward for now on. For the most part, I mean, you got Atlanta in round 3 after that, but Chicagoland is an intermediate track, so it's a more I guess my picks are gonna be pretty straightforward, I guess. Sonoma was a bit more of a wild card when it comes to because it's a road course. Road courses are a bit of a wild card, but Chicagoland, yeah, Chicagoland is a little bit more straightforward because, I mean, being an intermediate track, you kind of know who the top dogs are, like who the main guys are. Like, take for example Reddick versus Cindric. This is an easy pick, 10 out of 10. I'm going with Tyler Reddick on this. Denny Hamlin versus Eric Jones. Again, easy pick for Hamlin. Suarez versus Zane Smith. Okay, now this is a little bit of a tricky pick because, like I said, Zane has been pretty good in recent weeks, and not only on Michigan and Pocono, going even further back, the Coca-Cola 600, Nashville, he had top 10 speed. He just doesn't have the finishes to back him up. Whereas with Suarez, Suarez has he doesn't really run top 10 that much. He only has like 5 top 10s on the year. But the reason why he is 8th in points is because of him racking up top 15s, just finishing home like 15th or in the 11th to 15th. And I think unless a strategy call happens like the one that won Suarez at Coca-Cola 600, I don't think he's gonna have the raw speed and the momentum that Zane Smith has right now. In saying that though, Chicagoland, old worn out surface. I don't know how worn out Charlotte or Nashville were. So this is gonna be a pretty. Yeah, this is a pretty tricky pick. This could go either way if such a matchup were to happen. This is one of those matchups, like this entire part of the bracket, like the Spire versus the front row cars. I could see this whole thing going either way. I could see any of these 4 guys. Yeah, I could see any of these 4 guys making it to the all the way to round 3. Except maybe Todd Gilliland, but then again, it's pretty tough here. I guess I'll pick Suarez simply because he's the safer pick, quote unquote. Yeah, I guess Suarez is a safer pick, quote unquote. Even if Zane has shown more raw speed than Suarez. Like, if I have to pick between Zane Smith and Suarez, who's more likely to finish in the top 10, I'll say Zane. but at the same time saying has as high of a chance at having an issue and wrecking out or something like that. Where Suarez, I think he, if something happens to him, I think he can rebound to at the very least finish in the top 20. So because of that, I feel like Suarez is a safer pick to make. But then again, this is another one of those matchups that could go either way. Buescher versus Christopher Bell. Speaking of matchups that could go either way, because it's a mile and a half and Toyota has been pretty good a mile and a half, they've looked pretty unbeatable. You would think that Christopher Bell, this is an easy pick for me, but considering the terrible luck that Bell has done and Buescher, similar to Suarez, Buescher has this tendency of always finishing races either in the top 15 or even the top 10. So because of that, this upset has a higher chance of happening. I know it's an yes, I'm calling it an upset even if Buescher is like higher ranked than Bell, because Bell is, if this matchup happened in round 2, Bell would be, or he should be, the favorite because of Toyota and their history with Gen 7 at intermediate tracks. Bell should be the favorite even if it's lower rank. So yeah, this upset has a higher chance of happening than some people would think because of Christopher Bell and his terrible luck, but if there is one race where Christopher Bell can shake off the bad luck, it's this one. It's this one. At some point, it doesn't matter how much bad luck you suffer, if you have the better car, if you are the better driver, you're going to outrun it eventually. So I guess I'm gonna go with Bell here and see what happens. I misclicked. Let's see. Chase Briscoe versus Ty Gibbs. Another JGR matchup, another matchup between JGR teammates. Even if Ty Gibbs has had the better season, and again, now that I think about it, I could see, similar to Bell and Buescher, I could see this matchup going either way because, I mean, it's JGR versus JGR. Briscoe, in my opinion, is a better driver, even if he's having a down year. Ty Gibbs, of course, being a higher seed. I guess Ty Gibbs would be the safer pick, simply because, yeah, I guess Ty Gibbs would be the safer pick, simply because Briscoe has had a worse season. However, in saying that, Ty Gibbs has never raced at Chicagoland. I mean, Briscoe has never raced. I mean, he has, what, 1, maybe 2 O'Reilly starts. So, honestly, neither of these drivers have had much experience racing at Chicagoland. And Briscoe, I mean, he's had a down year. But the thing that really keeps me from picking Ty Gibbs straight up is the fact that when it comes to tracks that have like this, that are pretty abrasive and they chew up tires, I've noticed that Ty Gibbs, he kind of struggles because he pushes the car way too hard on the short run, but he ends up falling out in the long run. And I think this is something that I don't see people talking about Ty Gibbs that often, is that he goes all out on the short run and he has nothing in the long run, which is why he ends up losing a lot of ground to the leaders. So because of that, and because I think Chicagoland is going to be one of those races where tires are going to matter, I think I'm going to give the upper edge to Briscoe. But again, this is a matchup that could go either way. Speaking of matchups that could go either way, Byron versus Larson. I could see, simply because they're both driving Hendrick cars, I could see either of them advancing. That being said, given the fact that Larson has proven to be the only guy, or one of the few guys, that can keep up with Toyota on intermediate tracks, I gotta pick him. Not to mention, I pick him to win at Chicagoland over all those Toyotas. So because of that, I gotta stick to my guns and pick Larson to win this. And finally, SVG versus Blaney. This is just an easy pick to me. Blaney, I mean, Blaney, he hasn't been really stellar on the intermediates. I guess he's I guess he's more of a 10th, 8th to 10th place guy in intermediates. But considering he's gonna be going against SVG on an oval, that's about as easy as it. That's about as easy of a pick as it can get. That's a layup, honestly. It doesn't matter how much SVG has improved on the ovals. I mean, he's going up against Ryan Blaney, the third guy, a guy who's top 3 in points. Like Larson, Blaney is one of the few guys that can occasionally hang on with the Toyotas. Maybe not necessarily on an intermediate track, but more so on the short tracks. Blaney can keep up with those Toyotas. So simply because of that, and the fact that Chicagoland is an oval and not a road course, I think SVG is cooked. And finally, Elliott versus McDowell. This is just another layup for me. Elliott, I think, is going to show up with, at the very least, top 10 speed at Chicagoland. And even if he doesn't finish top 10, McDowell is, what, a 20th place guy on ovals? Which he's no slouch, but, I mean, he's going up against a Hendrick guy, a Hendrick driver, so, yeah. Okay, so I had to pause the recording for a moment because it started raining and I had to close all the doors and windows in my house to prevent it from getting flooded. So yeah, if you hear any background noise, it's rain because it's pouring outside. So I guess you just have to deal with it. Nothing I can do about that. So anyways, round 3, moving on. We go to Atlanta, and at this point, yeah, we still got Atlanta in this challenge, but now this time it's round 3, not round 1. So I think the picks should be pretty smoother now. I mean, we've weeded out some of the lower dogs, but we still got some kind of, guess you could say, some Cinderella stories going on, like Suarez, for example. He's going up against Tyler Reddick, and in any other year, I would have picked Suarez because Atlanta is literally his best track, and he's driving with Spire. But Reddick, he has become literally a great super speedway guy out of nowhere. I mean, he's won the Daytona 500 and at Atlanta to start the season. Now, obviously, that being said, just because Reddick won the first 2 super speedways of the season, I'm not gonna say that he is some kind of super speedway ace or something like that. But he's become pretty good on super speedways. His racecraft has really improved to the point that I could actually see him advancing over Suarez. That being said, it's Suarez at his best track, driving what is arguably the best car he's ever had in his career, or rather, having the best year of his career. So because of that, and again, this matchup could go either way. And this is another one of those matchups that could go either way because it's Suarez at Atlanta. But I'm going to send it. I'm going to say that Suarez pulls off the upset and he manages to advance over Reddick. Now this matchup, Hamlin versus Bell, another pair of DGR teammates going up against each other. I could see this one going either way. Because not only because it's 2 JGR guys, but I mean, it's at Atlanta. It's at Atlanta in the Gen 7. Denny Hamlin hasn't really gotten the results at Gen 7 super speedways. Doesn't matter how well he runs. Especially at Atlanta. I feel like Atlanta has kind of become an Achilles heel for Hamlin ever since the reconfiguration. I feel like he always gets involved in a wreck every so often there at the track. Whereas Christopher Bell, I mean, he won at this track last year. And similar to Hamlin, though, his results have been, he's been pretty hit or miss at Atlanta. But because he's got that win at Atlanta, I'm going to say that he's a better super speedway racer. Or at the very least, he races better at Atlanta than Hamlin, or he gets better results. But then again, Bell could easily get screwed over, like he's had pretty much ever since the month of May started. So again, I could see either one of them going either way, so I guess I'm just gonna have to send it here. I'm gonna say Bell, simply because he got the win. Simply because he's won at Atlanta. I feel like that's gonna, like, this is a deciding factor for me. Bell has won at this track, at this configuration of Atlanta, where Hamlin has not. So because of that, Bell is up to the semifinals. Larson versus Blaney. This is a layup, because Larson, ever since the reconfiguration, Larson has just never been able to get the results at Atlanta. And Blaney, he's done everything there but win. So yeah, Blaney is gonna go there. I think Blaney gets in over Larson. Briscoe over Elliott. Considering that Elliott is the defending winner of the summer Atlanta race, this is pretty much the pick for me, the pick to make for me. So yeah, Briscoe versus Elliott. Briscoe versus Elliott. I'm gonna say Elliott advances. Okay, round number 4. We're almost done here. Only 3 matchups left to decide. So we got North Wilkesboro in round 4. We got one matchup that I think is gonna be pretty easy. I mean, it's Elliott versus Suarez, and I mean, neither of them are particularly stellar. I mean, North Wilkesboro, this is like the first points race at North Wilkesboro. Elliott versus Suarez. And as much as I really want to say Suarez pulls off the upset, I think his Cinderella run ends here, and I think Elliott is gonna make it to the, is gonna advance to the big finale. And over here, Bell versus Blaney. I could see this one going either way. Both guys are pretty good at short tracks. I said earlier about Ryan Blaney that he is the best guy on short tracks, not from Toyota. The best non-Toyota driver on short tracks. The only guy that can keep up with Gibbs and 2311 on some tracks, similar to Larson. In Blaney's case, I feel like he could pull off the upset over Bell here at North Wilkesboro. But then again, the last time we went here, we went at this track for the All-Star race. Bell won the whole thing. He won $1 million of his own. And I'm gonna say, yeah, I'm calling it. Christopher Bell is gonna win. Is gonna go into Indianapolis with a chance to win another $1 million of his own. So the finale of my bracket. Again, I didn't predict this finale. This is just how the matchups, the individual matchups went down and led to this. I guess my final bracket is gonna be Elliott versus Christopher Bell at Indianapolis. And again, because Christopher Bell is driving a Toyota, and Toyota has been pretty good, especially at the Brickyard, because Toyotas, I believe they dominated the Brickyard race last year. At the very least, they look pretty good. I know Bubba Wallace won the race last year, but Tyler Reddick looked pretty good. Denny Hamlin, I believe, looked pretty good as well, if I remember that race. And Toyota is now better than they were last year, so yeah, I guess it doesn't matter how much bad luck this man has suffered over the past couple months. I'm gonna say Christopher Bell wins. And for the second straight year, gets $1 million here. How many laps will he lead, though, is the real question. Sonoma, let's see. I could see Bell leading, I guess, 2 laps on pit strategy at Sonoma. Then we go to Chicagoland. How many laps could Bell lead at Chicagoland? I'm going to say he leads 21 laps at Chicagoland. So 2 + 1, 23. Then we go to Atlanta. How many laps will Bell lead at Atlanta? I think he's going to lead, like, I don't know, 6 or 7 laps. 6, 7, I did the thing. No, for real though. I'm going to say 30. Going to be generous to him and give him an extra lap there. North Wilkesboro, I don't know if he's going to be the car to beat, but I know he's going to lead north of 100 laps. See him leading 152, 162. Okay, so let's add 162 plus 30 is 192. And then on the Brickyard, I think it's gonna lead 1 lap, maybe 2 laps. Yeah, 2 laps. Okay. So Bell's gonna, I say Bell's gonna lead 194 laps. Again, I'm just throwing darts on the wall here because, again, this is just a tiebreaker. I really doubt this bracket is gonna last all the way up until Indy, let alone the first round. If this bracket survives round 1, I'm gonna call it a win. I'm gonna call it a win. I don't think my bracket's gonna survive. And even if it does, I don't think Bell's gonna lead 194 laps for the whole thing. If he does, then I'll be damned. I'm just gonna quit everything and just live my life in happy retirement. But 194 laps for Bell, led for him. And yep, that's it. That's the whole shebang. This is my 2026 in-season tournament bracket. Let's see how long it holds up. Again, I'll consider it a miracle if it survives in round 1. Also pretty funny that Christopher Bell is gonna win. I got Bell winning the bracket. Again, I didn't think he was gonna win when I first started making it. When I started making this video, I didn't think he was gonna come out on top. But then again, this is how the individual matchups played out, and me using simple logic and just throwing a little bit of darts on the wall. I guess this is the bracket I'm gonna be going with. So yeah, for better or for worse, Christopher Bell will be my in-season tournament winner. Hopefully, he shakes off the bad luck as well, because he was my championship pick when the season started, and he has been, and he just hasn't been able to catch a break ever since the month of May started. But even far back though, I believe since the Bristol Racing April, he hasn't been able to catch a break. But hopefully this a good stretch of races and towards the end of, as we approach the end of the regular season, hopefully that's gonna inject some much needed momentum in him, for him to, you know, catch fire and manage to catch up to Reddick and Hamlin, and as well as all the other title guys that are in front of him in the points. So yeah, Christopher Bell, my 2026 in-season challenge winner. Leave me in the comments below, like and subscribe, and also comment down below who do you think is going to win the in-season challenge, and who do you think is going to win each of the individual matchups. If you think I made a mistake, if you think I'm dumb, or if you think I'm just crazy, let me know. But as always, guess I'll see you guys in the next video, whenever that is. Hopefully it's soon, because I really want to get into this whole YouTube thing. So yeah, see you guys next race.